Okay, so now we'll be talking about the next part of this chapter, that is the structure of the flower, right? This whole chapter is based on what? It is based on flowers. Now we'll be understanding the structure of the flower, right? So everyone has seen this structure before, right? Class 6 से हम लोग पढ़ते हुए आते हैं. If we talk about the major structures, देखो major whorls के बारे में we have already discussed. I am going to write those names again. What are the major whorls that we have been talking about repeatedly? It's calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Right, these are the four whorls that we have been constantly talking about. अब यहाँ पे देखो, let's focus on the structure. See here, sepal. The green leaf-like structure which is present here, this is sepal. Then the brightly colored structure that we are finding here is petal. All these terms that you are seeing, sepal, petal, carpel, stamen, सबको कहाँ पे fit करेंगे? We are going to fit them here in calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, right? So sepal, petal, then here we have a new term, carpel. What is carpel? Carpel is your female reproductive structure. It is female reproductive structure. Okay, so what are the various parts of the carpel? Carpel कैसा दिखेगा? Carpel ऐसा दिखेगा, something like this. Now what are these? This is stigma, this is style, and this is ovary. Okay, so these are the three parts of a carpel. What is a carpel? Carpel is the female reproductive structure. Now moving on to another term called as stamen. What is a stamen? Stamen is your male reproductive structure. Okay, stamen is the male reproductive structure. Stamen में यहाँ पे भी हमें दो parts दिख रहे हैं, anther and filament, right? So what are we talking about? We are talking about this. This is the anther, and this stalk-like structure again, what is it? It is the filament. Okay, this stalk-like structure is filament. So again here the four important terms that you have to remember. What are those four important terms? Petal, sepal, carpel and stamen. And what are we going to do? We are going to pick these terms और हम उनको यहाँ पे fit करेंगे. Right? Other than that, of course, pedicel is there and thalamus is there. Now moving on. Stalk. Stalk holds the flower, right? A stalk is going to do what? It is going to hold the flower. Next part is thalamus, right? Thalamus, it is the swollen upper portion of the stalk. This is my stalk and this is my swollen structure which is called as thalamus. Okay, this is what? This is thalamus. Now next, petals, right? We discussed about petals. Colored parts of the flower. Now again see, अगर flower के पास कुछ भी colorful present है, that means that it is inviting the insects for pollination. It is attracting them for the process of pollination. So petals again, colored parts of the flower which attracts the insects. Important. Sepals. Sepals, they ensure the protection. So see, in the bud stage, I am pretty sure सबने एक flower देखा है which is in the bud stage. If you are going to see it very carefully, उसके around ऐसे green leaf like structures होते हैं. So what are those green leaf like structures? They are nothing but the sepals. So sepals in the bud stage, when the flower has not opened, what it is making sure? It is ensuring protection. ठीक है, क्या ensure कर रहा है? Protection ensure कर रहा है. Stamen. Male reproductive organs which produce the male gametes. And where are we going to find these male gametes in? We are going to find these male gametes in the pollen grains, right? सब कुछ पढ़ेंगे. We are going to read everything, the structure of the pollen grains. Where are these male gametes present? Okay, so stamen is what? Male reproductive structure, male reproductive organ. Then next is carpel. Carpel is female. Okay, so stamen is male, carpel is female. You don't have to get confused between the two terms. Stamen is male and carpel is female. So female reproductive organ which produces female gamete. Again, we will be talking in detail about the carpel, about the three parts, the stigma, style and ovary. और फिर ovary के अंदर हमें ovule मिलेगा. Ovule के अंदर we will talk about a structure called as embryo sac where we are going to find the female gamete. Okay. Now, moving further, the structure of the flower, the whorls, right? Very important. From the beginning, I have been repeating the terms whorls, the calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Now see here, right? See, these are the whorls, androecium, gynoecium, corolla and calyx. So now let's talk about them one by one. Calyx, what is calyx? Outermost whorl, very important. Okay, this is very important. Outermost whorl, इस पे भी question आता है. Outermost whorl and the members are termed as sepals. So I told you when we discussed the terms sepals, petals and carpel and stamen, I told you हम लोग उनको कहाँ पे fit करेंगे? We are going to fit them in the whorls. So these whorls, they are nothing but the collection of those structures. Like see here, calyx. What is calyx? Calyx is nothing but collection of sepals. The members of calyx are termed as sepals. Now the important thing is that it is the outermost whorl. सबसे बाहर के side पे जो circle present है, that is the calyx. Now moving on, next point, green colored, right? We had seen in the diagram also. See here, calyx, what color is it? It is green. We can see it here clearly in the diagram. Right, green colored हो गया, protect the bud which later becomes a flower, right? Abhi in the last slide we had discussed what is the function of sepal, what is the function of calyx. It is going to protect the bud in the initial stages. Okay, now moving on, next corolla. Corolla, it is the whorl before the calyx. Okay, next members are termed as petals, right? हमने calyx के बारे में क्या बोला था? Calyx was the outermost whorl, उसके members क्या थे? Sepals थे. Corolla क्या है? Corolla is the next whorl which is present. ठीक है? We are starting from the outermost and we are going to move to the innermost. So calyx was the outermost. Now we are moving to the next whorl which is the corolla. Okay, so this is corolla. Members are termed as petals. Okay, so each member of corolla, what is it termed as? Petals. The function of the petals is simple. It is brightly colored. So of course it is going to help in the process of pollination. Bright colored attract the insects for the process of pollination. Very important. Alright, moving on to the next whorl, androecium. Androecium, whorl next to corolla, right? Again I am repeating, what are we doing? We started from the outermost whorl और हम अंदर की side पे जा रहे हैं, ठीक है? So we started with calyx, corolla, next is androecium. Androecium is the inner whorl next to corolla. Members are termed as stamens. We saw what stamens are. Stamens are the male reproductive parts, male reproductive organ, right? So the members of androecium are what? Members of androecium are stamen. This is the male reproductive organ, right? Moving on to the next whorl, gynoecium. Gynoecium, it is the innermost whorl. Very, very, very important. Then members are termed as carpels, right? We saw what are carpels? Female. Right, female reproductive organs, female reproductive structures are nothing but carpels. So gynoecium is nothing but a collection of carpels. Members of gynoecium are what? Carpels. Right, female reproductive organ. Okay, so now see here we started from the outermost whorl, right? We started from the outermost whorl, calyx, then we moved to corolla, then androecium, and then gynoecium. Okay, so this calyx, this is the outermost, and gynoecium is the innermost. The sequence is very important. It has been asked previously in your exams. ठीक है, तो sequence याद रखना है. We are starting from the outermost wall and moving towards the inside, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Right? Now we'll be talking about the pre-fertilization events in the flower. Now, so the first thing is, what is fertilization? Everybody knows what is fertilization, right? Class 10 से हम लोग पढ़ते हैं. The process of fusion of male and female gamete is nothing but the process of fertilization. Now see, what is the heading saying? Pre-fertilization events in the flower. That means what events are we talking about जो fertilization से पहले हो रहे हैं, right? Now I told you guys that the fertilization is fusion of male and female gamete. तो अगर हम बात करेंगे events जो इस process से पहले हो रहे हैं, of course we'll be talking about the formation of the male and the female gametes and then how they meet, right? That is what is required in the pre-fertilization events. So now let's see. See, the events that take place before fertilization, they are called as the pre-fertilization events. Following events would occur before actual fertilization takes place in a plant. Okay, so let's see those events. Gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Everybody knows what gametes are, right? So see here, what is the term? Gametogenesis. What is the meaning of the term genesis? Formation, right? Formation. Genesis means formation. Okay, so gametogenesis is nothing but the formation of the gametes. Let's see here, development of the male and the female reproductive structures, right? Ultimately, gametes कहाँ पे develop होंगे? They are going to develop in the reproductive structures. Okay, so the development of the male and the female reproductive structures is going to come here. Gamete transfer, name ही सब कुछ बता रहा है हमें what is happening in this step, bringing together the male and the female gamete. Right, we'll be talking about the process of pollination here. Then development of the male and the female reproductive structure. Next is going to be formation of the male and the female gamete, because ultimately for the process of fertilization, what do we need? We need these gametes, right? Gamete transfer, pollination occurs in these plants to facilitate the gamete transfer, right? There are various agents of pollination also, so that we'll be talking about in this chapter, right? So pre-fertilization events, very simple, the events which are happening prior to the process of fertilization, उसको हमने दो में categorize किया है, gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Now in the flower, the male and the female reproductive structures, the androecium and gynoecium, they differentiate and develop. Okay, then the androecium consists of whorl of stamen representing the male reproductive organ and gynoecium represents the female reproductive organ. All the information we have already discussed. Androecium, gynoecium, the whorls. What are the members of the androecium? The members of the androecium are stamen, the members of gynoecium are carpel, right? So that is what this line is saying. The androecium consists of whorls of stamens representing the male reproductive organ and gynoecium represents the female reproductive organ.